Imagine a small village. The night is dark, the wind is howling, and people are locked inside their homes. Outside, only one word echoes in the air. Witch. Witch. That single word set an entire town on fire with fear. This is the story of Salem in 1692, a tiny Puritan settlement in New England, where within just a few months, nearly 200 people were accused of practicing witchcraft, and 20 innocent lives were taken. This isn't just a story from the past. It's proof of how dangerous human fear and superstition can become. The people of Salem were Puritans, strict, deeply religious, and convinced that the world was a constant battlefield between God and the devil. Life in Salem was hard. The community was small, but the problems were huge. Native American attacks, failed harvests, diseases, poverty, and endless divisions. Whenever something went wrong, people blamed the devil's work. And the most feared crime of all was witchcraft. It all began in the cold winter of 1692. In the household of Reverend Samuel Parris, something strange started happening. His daughter Betty, only 9 years old, and his niece Abigail, just 11, suddenly began acting in bizarre ways. They screamed, fell to the ground, twisted their bodies, and cried out that invisible hands were choking them. When a doctor was called, he declared, "This is no illness. This is witchcraft." And with that one word, panic exploded through Salem. Whispers spread across the town. If these innocent girls were being attacked by witches, then evil must be living among them. And soon, the accusations began. The first 3 targets were easy ones. Tituba, a slave woman in Reverend Parris's home. Sarah Good, a poor beggar whom no one liked. And Sarah Osborne, a sick widowed woman, already shunned by society. When the 3 women were brought before the court, Tituba broke under pressure. After being beaten and threatened, she confessed. She admitted that she had seen the devil, and she claimed there were many more witches in Salem. That one confession turned suspicion into mass hysteria. Now every strange thing in the village was blamed on witchcraft. If a cow stopped giving milk, it was a witch's curse. If a child fell ill, it was the work of a witch. If neighbors disliked each other, one would accuse the other of serving Satan. And the courts, they accepted spectral evidence. That meant if someone said, "I saw this person's spirit in my dream, tormenting me," it was taken as proof. Imagine being sentenced to death because of someone else's nightmare. The trials grew larger. Salem established a special court to handle witchcraft cases. Nearly 200 people were accused. 19 were hanged. An elderly man named Giles Corey was pressed to death with heavy stones because he refused to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. Many others died in jail, awaiting trial. And it wasn't only the poor or the outsiders. Even respected members of society found themselves accused and executed. Fear was so overwhelming that people even accused their own friends and family, hoping it would save them from suspicion. But the madness spiraled out of control. Finally, when the governor's own wife was accused of witchcraft, the truth could no longer be ignored. The governor shut down the special court. Spectral evidence was declared invalid. Slowly, the trials came to an end. But the damage had been done. 20 innocent lives were lost. Families were destroyed. And the town of Salem carried the scars forever. In time, the community admitted its mistakes and even compensated some of the families. But the memory of that hysteria remained a dark shadow in American history. The Salem Witch Trials became the ultimate example of mass hysteria. Fear, superstition, and power struggles turned ordinary people into executioners of their neighbors. Even today, the phrase witch hunt is used to describe a campaign of baseless accusations. 3 centuries have passed. Yet Salem still warns us of a timeless truth. When fear and superstition sit in the judge's chair, humanity always loses. And don't think this is just an old story. Even today, we create our own modern witch hunts. The faces change, the accusations are different, but the pattern remains. So the question is, if you had lived in Salem in 1692, would you have seen through the hysteria? Or would you too have been swept away by the tide of fear?